I'm vengeance.
I do have fun every time I watch that.
Me
cool.
too. I really
nice.
enjoy it. I wasn't going to say
Nice.
anything, but I was like, man, that is just like the greatest hits of all the cool movies that I like.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to make. Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 92 of the Super Civil Servants Podcast. My name is Greg, the Bat Daddy 52, and with me, as always, my homeboy Nathan. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Greg. Doing good. Just going to be a nice, chilled, relaxed evening and talk about some fun stuff, or stuff that I think is fun anyway.
Yeah, just the dynamic duo, I think, tonight. I don't know if anybody's going to join us, but, you know, the door's open and they have the invitation, so somebody else might hop on, but we do have some cool stuff to talk about. I finally took some advice from you. Before we get started, though, let's talk about what we were just talking about before the show got going, about your lucky fortune you had that you stumbled into.
Man, all right, so I drive a recycling truck, so like, but I'm not like one of those armed trucks that like gets, dumps the shit in where I don't ever have to get out and just kind of be there. Like I get out literally at every single house that I get. And I got one of the old ones you'd see on like the one that Casey Jones packs the shredder in, you know what I'm saying? Like where people can ride on the back. That's what I do. So I got to get out. What a great
reference. What a great reference.
Right. Yeah. So I got to get out of it all, in between, 400 to 550 houses, whatever it is in a day. Anyway, I'm picking this toter up and like I dump it in the hopper and like I look down and I see like the words at the side. It's just like, looks like it says bus and I'm like an eye on it. I'm like, is that an omnibus? What the hell? And like I takes it and it's just like some paper and I shred it or push it over and I see 5 volumes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer omnibus. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, all right. So I pull these out and like when I say this, like there's not been soda spilled on this stuff. They're not wrinkled up. Nobody tore pages out. It's literally like they took their collection, stuck it in this can. It's not like I'm not trying to like glamour it. Like there's this can wasn't like dirty. There's not stained. Right. Like this shit is clean. I'm like, whoa. So I take it and I pull it out, stick it to the side. I'm like, that's crazy. And then I see all these things that look like kind of looks like manila folders the way it's in there. And I'm like, well, no, those are plastic. I'm like, well, fuck, let me see. Flip it open. It is issue 2 through 25 of season 8 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, all bagged and boarded in pristine condition. I go, holy shit. So I pull these out and I stack. Well, okay, my hopper was full. So there was actually issue 1 was probably in there, and one of the omnibuses that I was missing was probably in there, or both of them.
Yeah, it would make no sense for just that to be missing.
Yeah, and then, so I pulled it because obviously I'm not literally digging through, but like this shit that's all on the top, and I'm like, holy shit. And then there's a Frey thing, and then there's a Batman Hush Volume 2, and then there's a Dark Knight Returns, like one of the older ones. And I'm like, holy shit. And literally all these, like, I could dig them out of my closet right now. I got them here and show you. They're literally in pristine condition. So I'm like, well, shit, I'll take that shit home with me. Like, that is a hell of a find. You know what I mean? Because I liked Buffy as a kid. Like, I remember that was appointment TV, back when CW was WB. It was like, I remember coming on after school, it was like Tuesday night at 6 o'clock or 7 or whatever. You'd have, that was appointment TV for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. As a kid, like, yep, I'm watching Buffy. She's going to kill some shit. I'm going to watch Angel go out there and be like, watch their faces change. Now, I know the creator and executive or whatever is a, tool ass piece of shit. And maybe that's why that people threw that away. But if you look at it all, ask Hat fucking Whedon, he was the executive producer and kind of like story beats. So yeah, he had like the buck stopped with him. But if you look at all the pencilists and artists and colorists and script writers and storyboard artists, you know what I mean, that did the storyboards that did this, there's a lot of other people that put a lot of hard work into there. And it's not fair to them that all that go away because the guy, like at the time we didn't know, so things were popular and it was going good. And that, you know what I mean? Like he was really a monster and a piece of shit the whole time, but we didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to read them, whatever, fuck it. I'm going to read them and see if I don't like them, maybe they all get thrown away again or I'll sell them or whatever. But I just thought that was a hell of a find.
Dude, it's a huge score, man. Like the best thing I get at the post office is sometimes somebody throws a envelope away that has a new pen in it, and I get a new pen or something like that. So that works out awesome. But dang it, I always have something around the tip of my tongue that I want to say, and I never. Oh yeah, if that was me, if that was like my mail, truck, and I was walking around, that's a person I'd go to their house and be like, hey man, if you want to get rid of any more of that stuff, I'll unload it
Well,
for you.
and this is the thing is like, not okay. I drive and I see a lot of different neighborhoods every day and a lot of different places.
Right.
And where I picked this up, this is a neighborhood that has, let's just say you would not expect it to come from this house specifically. Like when I looked out and I dumped it, like I looked up to where I was like, really? Like somebody had a son here, like, you know what I mean? Because the guy that lives is kind of like the sourpuss, but like he plays nice. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you can read people when you don't. I've been working at this job for almost 14 years. I'm very accustomed to customer service, dealing with customers and people every day. Right. And you get the vibes and the whatever. So like I just like, I was like, wow, that's very, very interesting. There must be a son or a daughter there that I didn't know about, you know what I mean, that lived there, or because definitely sourpuss dad, I can't see it unless maybe the wife, maybe, but I don't know. But it was very shocking where I literally looked at it. I kind of took a double take, like, well, I would not have expected that. I guess not the stereotype or whatever, but it was unexpected from the place it came from.
Yeah. It's crazy with trash, and I think mail too. They run kind of hand in hand.
Oh,
you find out a lot about people, and what's in their trash and what they get in their mail.
Today I'm dumping, and I'm in a very richy neighborhood. I dump the recycle bin I pick down, I dump it out, and I look in there, and there are three plastic water bongs in there. I'm like, hell yeah, somebody used to party, and I guess they're over it. They're done with that shit. But
like a disposable camera, right? They're just throwing it away.
You just wouldn't believe some of the shit people throw away, or they think that, like, and I'm not saying, like, and when I do run garbage, because I've got a Tuesday I run the garbage, like, I know people really don't give a shit about this, but while we're talking about it, like, so, like, people, like, throwing garbage bags in, I don't look, but sometimes the way the blade catches it and it packs and it'll rip on shit, those bags open up, and all that stuff that you think, like, like, sometimes, like, let's just say I've seen big veiny vibrating things flop out. I go, whoa, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Like, let's just say sometimes your darkest stuff isn't necessarily and it's not by any fault. Like, literally, I'm not like diving through looking for stuff, but sometimes shit happens and you go, well, that is alrighty then. You know what I mean? Like, you learn a lot about people through what they choose to discard. Let's put it that way.
100%, man. 100%. But yeah, that's your story, man. You got a big store there. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I've had people say that they think I should burn the stuff or sell it, and I'm assuming that's because of the Whedon thing. I didn't elaborate. I've had other people, a host of another DC podcast who is a huge Buffy fan in particular, said that if I didn't want it, they would pay the shipping cost if I would box it and send it to them. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen both sides of the spectrum, Oh
yeah. And you get that with everything. I mean, you got people that love and hate everything.
Absolutely. So. Hey, to each their own opinion and personal taste.
Well, hey man, we got 3 shows to talk about tonight. Which one you want to tackle first? Your choice.
We could do a little brief Bad Batch and just get it out of the way. So that's the most recent thing. And unfortunately, I say that out of the 3 topics we're talking about, like, I say get it out of the way because unfortunately, maybe I was just tired or what. Like, this episode really didn't do it for me. Last episode was kind of a down too. Like the first episode was great. Aftermath, where like you're in the thick of shit. Order 66 happening, like your heart's thumping, you're learning all the rules. Last week's episode was like, oh, okay, I get it. I see what we're doing. And then this week I'm like, okay. And like, oh, I like Omega as a character, but like Hunter and the guy, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm going to go too. I'm going to pull to the team. Yeah, 10-year-old. Right. Let's go out here to this deep, dark, scary jungle where like we can't see shit and something's eating the power cut. Like, I don't know.
And you have no weapons and just a mask.
Yeah, no weapons and just a mask. And I get having balls of steels when you're 10 because you don't know any better. Like, that's every 10-year-old kid. And I say balls, lady balls too, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. You don't know you're not invincible until you reach out and get touched when you're a kid. And then you're like, oh shit, things really do hurt and I'm not invincible. You know what I mean? So like, I get that aspect of it, but come on, man. Like, I maybe it's just me. Like, I like her, like her getting her little bed chamber at the end or whatever, like getting her first room. I thought that was kind of sweet. But then again, I'm like, you're supposed to be a part of the Bad Batch now. And now you got a teddy bear and a bungalow. I don't know. It's not, as of right now, it is not clicking with me. This the show and what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, of the episodes we've seen so far, I have to agree with you. This is definitely the weakest one. It feels like a filler, and
yes,
you're right. Saying to get it out of the way is because the other two things we're going to talk about, I think we're a little more excited about. They're fresher. Well, for me, one's fresh and new, and for both of us, the other one is.
One's a couple years old. Yeah,
Right.
One's a couple years old, but
So,
I think it deserves talking about.
Yeah, but no, this episode definitely did feel kind of. I almost forgot to watch it because I was, watching the other stuff, just trying to catch up more episodes of the other stuff, and I was like, oh crap, I got to watch Bad Batch before the show. So I was able to squeeze it in. I think this episode was more about Tarkin and it was rightfully so. It was named The Replacements, right?
Yes, and it was. Yeah, I mean, and they're, I guess, story wise, it kind of. Crosshair's the leader. They're recruiting regular recruits. Like it's how they're bending the stormtroopers to their will, so they won't have to use clones. I did make note because I guarantee this was a conscious decision because they didn't want to hear a fucking word about it. There was no boob armor for the two ladies on the thing. They just kind of pushed them out a little bit.
I didn't notice
because people have been bitching and pissing and moaning and fucking crying and. Oh, lady, yeah, because she'd want to place. You're right. If I'm a lady like my wife, if she's putting armor on, you're right. She's not gonna want a place for her chest to go. She's just gonna want to be smacked. Stop it, y'all crying assholes.
I mean, I honestly didn't know people were complaining about that, but I believe it because
it started with Mandalorian when Bo-Katan. She got boob. But you sexist male gay.
But doesn't Wonder Woman have boob armor?
Comfort? Oh no, because that's a male gaze too. Stop. That's a terror. Oh no, you can't use that analogy. That's all male gaze, Greg. Zack Snyder came with that. She was created by a man. Flickety florp, and every bit of the vocabulary you can use, and stop. You know what I'm saying? That's people. No, I'm not saying it to you. I'm saying it to the world.
Oh no, I feel you. Yeah,
they're fucking ignorant. Like if people aren't looking for a reason to bitch, they're. You know what I'm saying? Like. The worst thing we ever did was turn on social media and add comment sections. I'm saying it really is the worst thing because giving everybody a voice in a comment, like that was the fucking worst because not everybody deserves a voice or to be heard. I'm sorry, that's the truth. And you can say that people listen right now and go, well, you don't deserve a voice to be heard. You know what? Maybe you're right. Yeah. But there's a lot of stupid people out there that go, did you know? Or I ain't doing it. Fucking God, go away. Go back to your miserable fucking lives and find something else to bitch about.
And all this started with boob armor.
Oh, yes, it did. Man, but no, that's seriously, that's a real thing. People, all right, not to get too far in the weeds. They're talking about Bad Batch. There is an entire web page where somebody, person started the page that it's like can't remember the name of it, but basically it's the entire page is Lucasfilm whitewashed the Bad Batch. They accused Lucasfilm Animation of whitewashing the clones because they looked a little lighter in pigmentation in this, and we know that Tamar Morrison, like Django, whatever he's Pacific Islander. I'm pretty sure, like Jason Momoa. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not sure either. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and that. That they're whitewashing them, and D. Bradley Baker, a white guy, plays all the voices of the clones in the Bad Batch. You fucking dumb fuck. He brought if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't love and endear the clones as we do now. Like you know what I'm saying?
But has that always been a complaint, or is that only with the Bad Batch?
Because that's been a 2021 fucking vocabulary. I speak the vocabulary. Like if I don't say all the things that follow the narrative, and this is and then the person like on the thing and it started a hashtag Bad Batch, whitewash Bad Batch, and it was like in parentheses, she's like started by me. God, shut up. Shut up. I hate you. Punch yourself right in the face. Yourself right in the face.
Dude, I've been off social media and I don't miss this stuff. That's why, I don't.
They're going to eat themselves. The mob, the cancel mob and cancel culture is going to eat themselves eventually. Because everybody's like that. It's all great to burn everybody else down until you get hit. Like that, so brave Chrissy Teigen fucking, she's feeling it now. Like, not to get into too much political and off-topic shit, but it comes for y'all people. So like, I'm just saying, you can only burn so many people's houses down before somebody turns and goes, oh yeah, fuck, let's burn your house down too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a fair point.
That's neither here nor there. I say that the Bad Batch, I really hope it gets better.
Yeah.
Okay, not better. It's not bad, but I
need to figure out how Omega fits into the Bad Batch.
Yeah, like I need to.
It's been going on long enough without any kind of indication of how she fits in.
It's not even,
you know.
I mean, yeah. That I just need a little more substance. Like, what are they doing? Like, what are we doing, guys? So far, we're 3 episodes in, and we've done. Technically, we're 6 episodes in because the first episode was like 3 episodes put together. Which, you know what I mean. So like, I don't know.
Well, there's also hasn't been really any action.
No.
In the last couple episodes. No. We're looking, and this is the first real Star Wars. Well, I mean, of course, I haven't watched Rebels and a few other things, but I guess there would be in Rebels where we haven't really seen lightsabers. You know?
Oh, Rebels, there's lightsabers everywhere.
Yeah, but even in Mando, there's lightsabers. So it's like we're not seeing that kind of stuff. It's a completely separate story that's connected to everything. It's connected really well, but you're right. I'm just wondering where they're going with it. How many episodes we say it was? Like it's like
16.
16, yeah. So it's still got a long way to go. That's the thing, and I'm hoping it's not getting like the CW treatment where they're just putting filler episodes in to have a longer season. Because
I think that's where Rebels suffered, in my opinion. Is they would have those stretches, and like let's just say if they had 21 episodes, they would have a stretch of 5 sprinkled out, 5 or 6 episodes that were filler, and you could feel they were filler before they would weave the narrative again, and that would hurt it, in my opinion. And that my impression off of these 3 episodes that we have is we're kind of doing that now. And like they're dumping story stuff in there. Like I said, they're building how the Empire started recruiting and how they made it so easy for the Imperial soldiers to just be able to wipe out rebels and think of them as less than nothing. And so what I mean, they're laying the groundwork, but it's just not clicking with me so far. And me, I love the clones. I love this animation. And as of right now, it's not clicking. Who knows? Maybe by episode 6, like all this connects together, and I go, "Holy shit! The Bad Batch is one of the great Star Wars entities that's ever entered." But as of right now, it's not jiving. It's not clicking.
I hear you. Yeah, it's definitely not something I'll give up on. I'm going to watch the whole thing, even if it starts to become something I dislike. And I don't want to say I dislike it. It's just, you're right. It's not taken off for me yet. I enjoyed the very first episode, very much. Like I said, it's connected to everything, and it's right after the Order 66. But I think it's going to get better as we start to figure out what. I keep wanting to say Omega, but they keep
it is Omega, but her Australian accent, she's Omega.
Yeah, well, even Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Excuse me, Hunter. Even he.
Yeah,
I thought about that today, and I was like, wow, he's Snake. Yeah.
Right.
So,
they wanted it to be Rambo, but it's every other character but Rambo. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Like it really is.
It's Rambo Light, is what it is.
Yeah, it's Rambo. You know what? Perfect. I think it's Rambo Ultra Light. To be honest with you.
Maybe that's a good way to do it. But yeah. But we'll see what happens. I thought an interesting part of this one was Hunter talking about his thoughts on it, about how leaving Crosshair behind, and it feels like they're going to get him back at some point in time.
Yeah,
I did think it was weird seeing him execute the civilians. Kind of crazy, but you're right. They're setting the precedent there.
Right, because if when we get to A New Hope, like we see how just freely like they'll take down rebels, and the only way they're stopping is if if they have orders to take prisoners. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they'll just go in and take them down.
Well, these weren't even rebels; they were civilians that were in there, or they just saying they were civilians.
They were the first remnants of the rebellion.
Okay,
because that was as soon as it happened. When we saw in the first episode, when they saw Saw Gerrera and these people. Saul was already was forming, you know what I'm saying, into a rebellion because the Galactic Empire had come. Those there were civilians in there, yes, but that was the beginnings of the Rebel Alliance, is the way I understood it.
Okay, and then I did notice they said Governor Tarkin on this one. So
they said Admiral in the beginning, and now Governor. So I don't know what happened in the. I don't know if they went hand in hand or what, if he got him at the same time, if he got promoted in that small time, because in episode 1 it was Admiral Tarkin.
Was it? I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it until this one.
Clone Wars, he was Captain Tarkin, and then like I said, beginning of this season it was Admiral Tarkin, and then we just heard, like you said, Governor.
Interesting. I do like having Tarkin in there though. I like Tarkin as a character.
Too.
No,
Me
he's
too.
a badass.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a badass. Who is the new guy that he just made admiral? He's got to be somebody big.
I was really kind of wishing to talk to Katie because I didn't take the time to look it up while I was watching, but like it feels like it should be somebody, and I know Katie because as I said, she is the the High Master on the Jedi Council. She will be able to school me.
Yeah, We'll have to hit her up and figure it out, but
Right.
I'm sure he's going to be somebody big. Like I said, just whenever I figure out what Omega's role is in this, I think it'll really start to take off for me. I did really enjoy the replacement stormtrooper uniforms, the black.
Yeah,
kind of those look really awesome.
Like kind of the early models of the Death Trooper, perhaps. You know what I mean?
Really enjoyed that.
Speaking of Star Wars, Sunday morning, Katie won't be joining us, but Clay is going to co-host for Katie, and we are going to be talking about The Last Jedi because Clay loves the movie, and anybody who knows anything about me knows I'm on the other side of the spectrum. And we're going to sit down and have a conversation. So either sometime between now and 9 a.m. Central Sunday morning, I've got to squeeze in my third viewing of The Last Jedi, and going to take some notes, and I'm going to watch Super Leia, and I'm going to watch, brush the dirt off your shoulder Luke, and lightsaber throwing, and all that good stuff, and, Canto nonsense. So, what's up? I just want to, a little cheap plug if anybody's watching or listening and would like to join into our no doubt civil, cordial conversation that will in no way divulge into jokes, laughter, perhaps raising voices a bit and poking good fun at each other.
No, we don't do that when we podcast.
No.
Not at all. I'm going to try to be in that chat room at least. That'll be fun. Need somebody to have her be a referee, ring a bell.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, man, that's the Bad Batch. These episodes are short. There's only like 23 minutes.
They've gotten shorter. Yeah. The first one was 75. The second one was like 37, and this one was 29. I want to say 29, 31, somewhere in that ballpark.
Which is still, long for a show without commercials.
Yes.
A lot of times you have a show with commercials. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's we've gotten a lot of this universe so far, and they're stretching it out over 16 episodes. So
absolutely. And this is and I think Clay will talk about it, but while we're on Star Wars, like he was telling me today that there's a guy that refuses to watch season 2 of The Mandalorian. And as we all know how that ended in like the greatness, and if you're somebody like me who does not like the sequel trilogy, specifically the middle movie, like with the guile passion, season 2 of Mandalorian's finale should made people like our heart scream. Anyway, the guy won't watch it because he knows they're trying to set it connected to the Rise of Skywalker, and he hates the Rise of Skywalker so much he won't watch Bad Batch. He's not watching anything else because no matter what, they're going to try to set it up and connect it to Palpatine and blibbity blah blah. And he's not having it. And I go,
wow.
I told Clay, I was like, that's what I want. I want them to make sense of how Palpatine. How his spirit didn't die, how he created Snoke and puppeted him without inhabiting him. I want to know how Luke got to be doing all this crazy heroic shit, taking Grogu training, and then going, it's fucking 6 years before and being like, I'm gonna go to this island and I'm gonna just hang out here and become a curmudgeon and suck on sea cow titties. Like, you know what I mean? Like, show me what happened. I need it to make sense. Like, show me what that is exactly what I want. And I just thought that was funny. This guy's, that's where he's drawing his lines. They're going to tie it to the Suckies movie. Okay, but please try to make the sequel trilogy sound better to me because everybody knows that shit was a relay race. They had no plan. Daisy Ridley, all but confirmed, because whenever she was talking about, Force Awakens, it was going to be Rey Kenobi. Last Jedi, Rey Nobody. Rise of Skywalker, Rey Palpatine, because they literally had a fucking relay race and they didn't have any plan. And I think Lucasfilm sorely regrets that. And they've done a lot better now, and they seem to have every one thing kind of locking into another. They had some growing pains, is what it seems like. But it seems like they got their shit together now. And unfortunately, the sequel trilogy suffered for it. But hopefully, we can get somebody in there to weave and thread some tissue in there to make it to ease the pain or to make the road more easily travelable.
Yeah, it's like a volatile stock. I think that they Star Wars always had a lot of clout, and then they dipped down a little bit with. Well, honestly, I can't say that. Force Awakens, I love that movie. I think that's like number 3 on my Star Wars list for like all
I
time.
still love it too. And
yeah, I love that movie.
It is a ripoff of A New Hope. There's no denying that, but I love A New Hope. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, yeah, I get it, but I do. The Force Awakens, I don't hate that movie. It's not like way up there on my list, but I don't hate that movie like I do the other two. And I don't even hate you know what I mean.
Well, after that, they kind of started to take a nosedive, you know.
No. Force Awakens came out. We're on a sky high up here. Rogue One comes out. We're on a fucking major high.
That's true.
Then we fell off the cliff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was it Last Jedi was, you know, I don't love that. I don't hate that movie, but I really don't like that movie that much. And then Rise of Skywalker, if you've listened to the podcast before, you've heard my thoughts on that one. It's just
those are my least two favorite in all the saga movies. It goes Last Jedi at the bottom for me, and Rise of Skywalker's right next to it. And I'm counting the Clone Wars animated movie with this. You know what I mean? Like, it ranks above that to me. Attack of the Clones, which is just to me personally is near and dear to my heart, and I like a lot more than other people. But it goes up there, literally. And that is so unfortunate that those two are down there. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Like that's my least. Those are my bottom two, no matter what. Is Last Jedi, and then Rise of Skywalker's barely better than it because it's. And God bless J.J. Abrams. He did what he could to cobble that piece of shit together with what he had left, but it didn't work. It did not work. In my opinion.
And the thing is, you're right. They can bring it together and make it make sense. It's not
flesh it out.
Unfixable.
No, we've got a skeleton. We need it fleshed out.
But it will help me at least. With that movie, if they can make it make a little more sense, because I did not like the way they went with that. Palpatine was not the way to go. I love him as a villain, right? Not the way to go, though.
No, not in the 11th hour. You know what I'm saying? Because you can tell that was a literally last minute decision. Otherwise, you know what? If there would have been a thread set up in Force Awakens or The Last Jedi,
I could live with that.
But okay, if while we're on the subject, all right, guys, not to get on our
we love Star Wars too. So when we start talking Star Wars, we just keep going. Yeah,
this is like it. Disney knew that when they did this next movie, the sequel trilogy, they knew one thing absolutely for sure going into it. We need to kill the original characters and have our own Disney characters. Han Solo, Force Awakens. That was and they got that. I've never heard anybody come out and say, "Oh, that was a mandate," this and there. But the Han Solo goes. Everybody, Rian Johnson included, for The Last Jedi, said, "Well, we didn't know exactly what we were doing, but we knew one thing for sure: Luke had to die. Luke had what in the middle? What the fuck? You do one thing for sure: Luke had to die. Okay, boom, pick Luke off, and then you get Leia, who Carrie Fisher unfortunately passed on before she could get her swan song, but that was supposed to be her movie. The battle was on Luke's shoulders in the original trilogy. This was going to fall on Leia's shoulders by default and get Rey and send her out of the world. And it was going to be Master Leia Skywalker, take it, Master, Rey, Kenobi, nobody, Palpatine, whatever. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was their biggest problem. They the only thing they went in there with is we need to kill these mother effers off so that we can promote our own original characters. And that's a terrible way to do things. And like I said, the relay race really, really hurt them. Really, really hurt them.
I love how when you have something you're really passionate about saying that you want to you lean into the camera like you're leaning closer to somebody's ear talking like, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When you start talking.
Yeah.
But no, you raise a good point. You're right. They probably did. I mean, they had to have their own identity coming in. And they're also building to a new generation of Star Wars fans. So it's understandable. And I'll always have those characters to go back and watch and read. And so
I'm not opposed to it. I'm not saying I'm opposed to losing these characters or putting them to rest, but that shouldn't be your sole purpose.
Right. It shouldn't have been the main
trilogy. Yeah, they shouldn't have been your sole purpose.
Working it, you don't even have to kill them. You can work them out of the story without killing them.
Yeah,
just work them out of the story naturally. If it means killing them, then kill them. But
Colin Trevorrow, they were like, he's working on his script and stuff and Duel of the Fates, and he finds out Luke's dead in Last Jedi, and he's going, "What the fuck, guys? My movie doesn't really work without Luke Skywalker here, and I need this set up." You know what I mean? And then he had to rework it, and then Disney, after the reception and everything that happened with Solo, and they were like, "Oh God, he's out of here. We're just burning that script." And JJ, come on, we're gonna bring you back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to rant about it because I do love Star Wars. There is good stuff in the sequel trilogy, even in the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker. There are some good things. Bringing Yoda coming back, being very emotional and shit like that was a good pull. There are some good things, just not many, in my opinion. In those two, like there's Lando coming back in Rise of Skywalker. There are good things in the sequel trilogy, but for 98% of it, it was a misstep for me.
Oh, dude, you want to know one of the best things about Rise of Skywalker was that when somebody dubbed over that Kylo Ren scene where he's running with the lightsaber and he's chopping people down, and they dubbed it over with that "I Need a Hero" song. Man, that made that scene so much better. Like that scene was great. Anyway, I like that scene, but that made that scene so much better, man. Yeah,
teleforcing, force healing. They did some really weird, like no stuff.
Yeah, well, it was new and interesting, so
it defeats the whole fucking purpose when Rey could just freely heal people. What was Anakin's entire fucking problem? He couldn't save his mom or Padme. If he had the ability to just fucking heal them, the whole saga goes differently. Palpatine's rooted out and fucking killed eventually. He doesn't turn to Darth Vader. None of this matters. The chosen one cannot heal people and bring them back from the brink. But Rey, nobody, can just go out there and she's just rocking the powerful. I can bring people back. What? I'm just Rey, 22 years nobody. I can bring people back from the dead. What? Get out of here. Stop it. The only thing, while we're talking about, what made that better for me is at least JJ and Chris Terrio, they said that Kylo and Daisy and Rey were a dyad in the Force and hadn't been seen in a millennia. So in my mind, that kind of makes it better. Okay, now I know why Rey's so powerful and she can do this because when her and Kylo got together and they locked Force powers and they intertwined and had Force babies or whatever, like it unlocks something in them special. That makes sense to me. But then you go in and Grogu can do the same thing. And I mean, I love the Yoda species. We don't know much about him, but I'm like, come on, man. Now everybody's just healing shit. Anakin's just the Force ghost over there biting his lip going, these motherfuckers, they couldn't teach me how to. I would have never killed all these goddamn younglings if Yoda would have just taught me how to heal people.
Right. And the most frustrating part about that is now that, especially with Grogu in there, now they've introduced it before and after like the original series. Yes. So it's been an ability that's been there that's never been spoken about before. It's just too difficult. Yeah, you're right. You shouldn't have introduced it, I don't think.
No. I don't know. Like I said, the Rey and Kylo thing, the dyad, like that is something in my opinion, that Chris Terrio did geniusly because it makes sense of why Rey was so powerful and she could just pick Luke's stolen light. I mean, she just picked it up and went and she could just fight and hold her own against a fucking Solo that was trained by Master Mother effing Skywalker. Like it makes a lot more sense that something deep inside of her would have been woken up because she's so powerful. And when she got next to Kylo, that was already his was already unlocked and he was powerful. Makes more sense to me.
Let's write it, man. Let's rewrite Star Wars.
Let's do it.
We got this. They'll listen to us.
Right. Yes. We'll just. Hey, you know what? Great. Here's what we'll do. We'll just go and we'll just knock on the door and we'll just barge right into the Disney's boardroom and we'll just lay our thing right on the table and say, "We demand you make it like this." And
they'll make it happen.
And they're gonna say, "We got you guys. Come on in here. We're gonna sign you. We're gonna because that's how it works."
I'll wear the Stormtrooper mask. They'll never know the difference. Right. They'll think we just work there.
Right.
So that guy who works here. Anyway, do we got anything else? We were talking about Clone Wars, then we went way off into Star Wars.
We talked about Bad Batch actually, and then we went way on it.
Okay, I mistake Bad Batch for Clone Wars because it's the same show. It's basically an extension of Clone Wars.
It is an extension, and I've heard people cry about that too.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it being an extension of Clone Wars. I like Clone Wars a lot. I would have loved another season of Clone Wars, but the story just ended. And that's kind of what we're getting here is another season of Clone Wars after the Clone Wars saga ended. So I enjoy it. But
absolutely.
All right, man. Well, let's talk about golly, now I can't even remember the name of the damn show. Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. So you've been asking me to watch this for a few weeks now. Mm-hmm. I'm not someone who's ever watched a lot of anime. This is a manga series, correct?
Very, very popular manga series in Japan.
Okay. And it's on Hulu.
I said I'd give it a shot. Yeah.
I gotta say, man, I watched the first 3 episodes of it last night. And with all the other stuff we've been watching for the show and everything else that's been on, I really, really was more interested in watching the next episode of this than I was watching any of the other stuff that we had, and it was kind of crazy. But it's a really, really good show. When I talked to my daughter about it, because my daughter's really big into anime, she couldn't believe I was watching it. She absolutely loves this show, and she told me as I was talking to her about it, like, get through the first few episodes. This first season gets better, and then she told me to get to the second season. And once I got the second season of the show, that it was a whole lot better. That she liked the second season of this show was probably her favorite season of any anime series. So,
well, yes, like getting through the beginning is well, not getting through, like, because you have to lay the groundwork. But if you've never watched anime before and you don't, you know what I mean, it's an experience. You have to get kind of used to, like, everything's more intense, and like when they talk about something, like there's more, you know what I'm saying? You have to kind of get used to the style. But once you get into the look of it, like, animation is what they do. Like, as you can tell, like the fluid motions in the backgrounds, like it is some of the most gorgeous animation and realistic looking animation of backgrounds and buildings and scenery and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then you get these guys on with their ODM gear out there, and they're basically, you know, they hold the swords, but they have like you're basically web slinging through walls and stuff. It's really cool, man. It is really cool.
Yeah. The animation was really fun because, you know, we were talking about it before the show. It's almost like three styles of animation. You get to see just like the regular cartoon animation, then you get to see these beautiful scenes that look just real, and then they have what I want to say is it's like the Transformers Netflix series animation. You know, or maybe Beast Wars, like a mix of that, where it's kind of computer animated, but not fully computer animated. Like a certain part of it will be, but the rest of it won't.
Yeah, they have. Well, it's kind of like Invincible. It's they have the hard backgrounds, and then you have the hard dark outlines around your characters most of the time. Like they have the hard dark outlines, and then you know what I'm saying? And there is some stuff, like they do use kind of 3D modeling to go around in circles, or like you'll see when they're pulling wagons with the horses. Sometimes it looks like that, but yeah, man, it's just fucking, it's real. So what did you think of the first? Like, give me your impressions and like what you thought when you're watching it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know I've seen the first 3 seasons, and because we're both watching the dubbed, because I mean, I'm sorry, you can call me a Neanderthal or whatever. I cannot sit there and read an entire show and hear a language that I can't understand. Maybe that makes me a simpleton. Maybe that makes me stupid. You call me whatever you want. I like the dubbed. That's my thing. I want to hear people talking about. I want to hear the voice acting. So I've seen the first 3 seasons because season 4 isn't dubbed yet. It's only out in sub. And I have more knowledge than you, so I want to hear what you have up to your things. I don't want to spoil you necessarily. You know what I mean? I just want to hear your thoughts on what you've seen.
Right. Well, as far as the dub goes, I agree with you. It's difficult for me. It would be difficult for me to hear it in another language and read the subtitles. I've tried that with certain movies, and it's just too difficult for me. Even though I do everything I watch with subtitles, because you'd be amazed at the things you learn from subtitles that you wouldn't really think about in the movie, like names and stuff like that.
Sure.
When you're watching when a character gets introduced and you're watching with subtitles, if it introduces that character's name, especially in parentheses or something like that, remember that character. They're going to be an important character, and the subtitles will teach you that. But yeah, you know, watching the dub version, because I didn't even know there was another version, and that's why my daughter's waiting for the 4th seasons, because she wants to watch the dub version.
Fucking right, me and your daughter. What's up? High five.
Yeah, I'm about to get on here to talk about the show, man. She really, really likes this one, so she told me it was one of her favorites.
We could absolutely have her get on here. I'll geek out with her on this show.
Oh yeah. But as far as my first impressions, man, there are certain characters that I really like. There are certain characters that I really, really, and just like, God, I'm getting sick of this. Like, I'm getting tired of hearing this. Like, let's see some development, see something different, and specifically Aaron.
Yes,
but
which does happen.
I assume he's going to mature. And I told my daughter that, and she was like, "Who's your least favorite character?" And I was like, "Aaron." She was like, your least favorite character is the main character?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of right now, but I'm only 3 episodes in, and you know, spoilers on this, from what he's gone through in the first 3 episodes, it's like
tell me.
I think the first 3 is a 3-year span, right?
Yeah, or it's a 5-year span.
5-year span, but it's a few years.
Well, okay, wait. Where did you leave at the end of the 3rd episode? Where are they still in the training camp, or have they been deployed?
The end of the 3rd episode is when he finally learns how to web sling. And
with the ODM. Okay, so
yeah,
you're 3 years in then. Yeah, when they're still training, you're in boot camp, because whenever they get deployed on their first one, it's it's almost 5 years. Like I said, I'm trying not to spoil it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the
But you
Colossal
can.
Titan.
It's
Well,
fine.
go tell me what with the Colossal. What did you think of like the Titans and stuff when you first watched it? Like, what was your first impression when shit hit the fan?
The story's great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I loved it when she hit the fan. I love how they kind of, the way it starts out is when it's already happening, then it stops and it goes back to beforehand and meets you back at the point. I love storytelling like that. It's pretty cool. The look of it was kind of weird. You know, I don't mind it being like big naked people. It's just, for me, the faces were really weird. The smiling, you know.
Like I said, you get more lore and background.
Okay.
But I also think that's also, it's supposed to be like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, whenever that one comes around the thing and they say an abnormal and it like jumps and spins and starts running as fast as it can, that creeped me. That gave me the heebie-jeebies.
That was the armored
willies.
Yeah.
No, not the Armor Titan. The one where they said the abnormal come around the corner and they took it out before the Armor Titan came around because they took the abnormal out and like it walked around the corner looking at like made a hide. It jumped and spun around and then started running with its arms down. Gave me the heebie-jeebies when I first saw it. And then they cut it down. And you're like, holy shit. And then the Armored Titan comes in. You're like, whoa. You know what I mean?
And that's my question. And I've gotta pull myself back from wanting to know the answers, like being upset that I don't know the answers to these questions because I'm only 3 episodes in. But like I don't know about the original, the big Titan that originally came over the wall, the one that had the flesh. Yeah. Don't know anything about him, the Armored Titan. I don't know anything about that. But like I said, this is just getting started. I'm sure they're going to answer these questions for me.
Minor spoiler: you won't learn the majority about those Titans until midway through season 2.
Okay.
You'll get in season 1. It's 25 episodes. You get the groundwork, you get the lore, you get how you saw the walls, you know, Wall Maria and Wall Rose and the inner wall, and you have the bubbles off of them like Shang-Chi. You know what I'm saying? Kind of these. Where they're taking them, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where civilization is, and they're laying your groundwork for it because you have your 3 ring walls, you know what I'm saying? There's big farmlands and there's all that going through, and then you have your little bubbles on the outer rings that are like those massive packed cities where Eren lived, because that's where the Colossal Titan kicks that gate in, and the armor smashes through that first wall, and then you're left with your back wall, you know, your back 2 walls and your inner gates. But on that outer wall, there's still 2 little. You'll get into eventually. They'll pull out on the map. And it's not just Aaron City that's out in a little bubble like that. There's one on the east, the west, and here at the top. So there's even more of those on the outer ring. Like I said, when you get in there and the more they lay, like season 1 gives you a lot of the lore and lays down the mystery and the groundwork. And then season 2 starts filling you in on the background. And then by season 3, like, you know what's up. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. Like I said, it's interesting.
They do it excellently. So what did you think, like they started out like, fucking Aaron's mom just gets eaten right in front of them. Like, you're like, holy shit. Like, she just straight up eats her. Blood splurts everywhere. And you're like, oh my God.
Well, that was crazy. And my daughter told me about, you know, this is kind of a gory show because my 10-year-old wanted to watch it. And I was like, well, I mean, it's not too gory, but I could see you saying that. It is rated TV 14, I think. So,
no, it's TVMA. It's mature.
Is it?
Oh, it's mature.
Okay. I mean, I didn't think it's been that bad, but I guess I'm just used to watching stuff like that more often. It doesn't affect me as much.
Just wait till you get into some of the kill. Like, they'll show these motherfuckers just eating people's heads right off, biting them right in half, ripping their bodies in half.
I say there was that one scene where he picked the one girl up, the Titan had picked the one girl up and just pulled her head off. Yeah. And like kind of drank like her out of her body like she was a cup, and I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, the story's great. I don't think they had a very good plan for if this ever happened. Like, it seemed like they just didn't have any kind of evacuation plan just in case this ever happened, and you would think they would.
They had never when we meet them in the clock, they have had peace for 100 years. There's been no breaches, no nothing.
But you wouldn't still have a backup plan?
The Colossal Titan is the first thing that's happened. And like I said, when you get more into the lore, you kind of see why things got laxed. Like, you know, it'll all make sense. I said the same thing in the beginning. I'm like, well, so what? They just got lazy over 100 years? Like, the only people that go out is the scout regiment, and then when they, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I said the same thing.
Okay. Well, you know, like, what'd you say? First season's 25 episodes. I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of this stuff answered. 25
episodes. Season 2 is 12 episodes, and I want to say season 3 is 21.
Okay.
And,
I mean, not too 20, bad. It's only like 23, 24-minute episodes with commercials. So
no. Like, and the way it's done, like, each episode says, you know, chapter 1 or whatever, you know, 1, 2, it says, like, it's got the number hashtag, and like it goes consistently through. So it's
Okay.
basically like you're watching one long. It doesn't even go through you're just watching one long story. You know what I mean? This the way it's with time gap. I don't know. Like I said, when you get later in there and you get Section Commander Kanji and you get Captain Levi and Commander Erwin and like you get to know more of like Casey. Like there's a lot of these characters that you'll meet and like you go, all right, and like you see how they survive and evolve and go. And like Mika's son is like, dude, like you don't like she's got some attachment issues, but you'll see why. But like Mika's son is a mean bitch. Like you want to have the best two fighters, Captain Levi and Mika's son. Put them back to back, and they will take out an entire squadron of fucking Titans.
Definitely one of my favorite characters. One of my daughter's favorite characters too, and she told me Levi too, and I hadn't been introduced to Levi yet in the show, but I'm sure he's coming up soon.
See, like you really start to you get to meet him in season 1 and all this stuff. You really start to like him in season 2. Season 3, you fall in love with him, and you're like, you know what I mean?
I got you. I know that's what my daughter said. I'm sure they're the people that everybody's going to end up loving. You've already said it, and she said, "I'm like, okay, these guys are going to be great." I'm looking at the casting of the characters, and it's funny because I guess this does go through years because each character, just about each character, has 2 different voice actors. I'm assuming one for younger and one for older.
No. Most of it is the Japanese voice actor, and then for the Japanese, the original dub, and then the American dub. If you type in the American, you got to type in American more sense. Cast. Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. All right, yeah.
Well, like your main trio is you have Eren Yeager, who's your protagonist. He's your hot-headed, headstrong. He's the one that's got to learn and mature. You got Mika's son, who's like just the badass bitch that you do not mess with. She gets more devoted, but she's like the protector, and she is the muscle, like straight up. And then you have Armin. You have Armin, who is the brains. Like even though he's kind of scared of stuff, like he'll find the courage, and which push comes to shove, he can kind of slow his mind down and figure something out. You know what I mean? Like you get more, like they grow together and stuff. But that's your main trio and your main cast.
Okay. Let's see if you can remember stuff from all the way back in the first couple episodes.
All right, so that's what I want to know. I don't want to say too much. I want you to say so I can elaborate with it.
So he first wants to. He stresses about how he wants to be a scout, and Mikasa actually tells his parents. And that's how his parents find out. And his dad tells him that if he's good and he doesn't make any trouble when he gets back, he's like, "I'll show you what I've been working on in the basement." They reference that one of the time in the first 3 episodes, and he flashes the key. Okay. Then his dad leaves because his dad's a doctor, and he leaves to go to a different bubble or city or town, whatever, to treat somebody. Hears about this one getting attacked, and you see him in one episode riding back on horse, just praying that his son and his daughter and Mikasa are okay. And you see the key, and then it goes to like this different realm, like a dream almost. And I think that Eren's having a dream about this, but when he wakes up, he has the key. So
what's the dream say? Like, it's his dad, right?
Yeah, it's his dad. Yeah, and I don't exactly remember what they said, but I know that it's flashing on the key around his dad's neck, and then the next thing you know, Eren wakes up and he has the key, and I'm like, how did that happen?
Man.
He talks about how the key to the
cellar or
the cellar. Or no, the key to survival is what he's been working on in the cellar or something like that, or the answer. I can't remember, but it just kind of blew my mind. I was like, well, maybe that'll get answered later.
It does.
Maybe he forced past that to him or something.
No, no, there's no teleforcing. It will make sense, but it does. I mean, without swing, it takes it a while for that to swing back around. But like the way that it all makes sense. Like whoever the story writer of this, and I can't remember it or even begin to pronounce his name. You know what I'm saying, of this series, and the same person that did the manga, like they've got a mind. They know how to do it. Like I said, they're weaving the story together.
Okay. Are there people with superpowers?
No.
In this, because
these are people.
I could have sworn I saw somebody's eyes light up and move at like fast speed at one point in time. Maybe it was maybe I don't know. I'm watching
Japanese stylization, like in the very beginning, episode 1, when the scouts come back in, and that lady asks about her son, and Ervin goes, get hands on the arm, and goes, "It's my fault." And it gets all intense and flashy. Yeah. That's just a stylization kind of choice, so to punctuate and intensify. And there are some times where, like, if the character's inner dialogue is intense, or where like their eyes will go, like, I think without actually seeing what you're talking about, I'm pretty sure that's just a stylistic choice that they tend to do sometimes. That's just comes with the medium. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You're gonna see all the girls are gonna be pretty and tiny waisted, and most of the time big chested, and the guys are gonna be big and strong and powerful. That's just how Japanese do it. That's just how their anime and stuff goes.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it's just a stylistic choice. Like I said, there's a lot of flair and a lot of emphasis on intense scene or dialect. You know what I mean? Like I said, that in the very beginning, Arabin, that's the main thing I can say, where he's just telling, and I got it. And like I said, they got the hard dark lines above him, and his face is all in shadow, and he's kind of screaming, talking.
I think it's even raining in the background.
Yeah,
it's not raining,
yes.
Yeah.
And then you got Aaron. Like sometimes when he talks, he gets all intense and passionate. He's like screaming to himself. That's just a stylistic choice how they do things.
Yeah. You know who Aaron reminds me of, and I don't know. Did you ever watch Steven Universe? I know I've mentioned it to you before. My other daughter loves Steven Universe, and it's actually not a bad show. It's more of a child's show, but it's not a bad show. The story's pretty solid. But he reminds me of Steven, just really, really whiny and always
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, dude. Like, stop. But I get it. Like I said, I've watched 3 episodes that's gone through 3 years, and in these 3 years, I've seen him lose his home, lose his father. Well, I don't know if he lost his father. We didn't see a body. I don't know what happened to his father. Lose his mother.
Watch his mom get eaten.
Yeah. But to be fair, he was kind of a whiny bitch before that.
He was, but he was also very young.
Yeah, that's the other thing, and they stress that you're young, you're a kid, you're weak. They stress that to him. So I'm sure it's going to change, and you've assured me, and my daughter's assured me that he matures.
Yes.
So,
and I think one of the coolest introductions, one of the coolest things this stuff did is the ODM gear. Because if you look at it, it's like these long box packs that have 4 blades in there interchangeable. It's got a tank on top of it. And he's got, like, on your hips, you got these 2 little side pieces. And on the back, there's, like, this motor. And you got your handles. And, like, you got your clip to change your blades. You grab the front forks, like your bicycle brakes. And that pulls where you could drop your blades and change them out. Then you have your 2 triggers. Your fucking push, your shoot and pull, and then your releases and pullbacks on your finger. And you're basically web slinging. And you have to have gas, and they have little motors on the back, and like you'll see when they show these, like let's just say Captain Levi and Mika's son, when these 2 motherfuckers get to scooting on that ODM gear, they do some of the coolest visual, and like it makes no sense. Like I don't know if this would really work if you could really learn, but man, it looks so fucking cool when they get to going and flying. Like man, like I said, I'm gonna try not, I don't want to hype. Like I want you to get there and see it, but like some of the moves they pull and the way they're slinging, and it looks like it could work to me. If I can believe Spider-Man out there web slinging for some reason, I can believe this. And like I think the ODM gear is so cool.
Yes, it is the way they end the 3rd episode. It's basically the last 10 minutes of the 3rd episode is him learning how to use this, and the way the episode ends is him slinging off on it. In the woods. It looks really, really cool. It'd be cool to have something like that. Like it'd almost be like you could set it up if you had a really long trampoline, and you could have somebody like slingshot you. That's what it would almost look like. I feel like I think it'd be fun to try. I don't think it would ever be possible, but man, it'd be really, really cool to do it. I love the concept of it too. It looked really cool. Well, that was the best part about it.
The way the cities are so tight knit and stuff, it makes sense because you have buildings and stuff to sling off of and swing
or even in the woods too.
I was gonna say, once you get there, like once they go into the woods, it makes sense. Like when they get caught in an open field unaware, that is death for them on a tight. If they don't have a horse, if they are on foot, even with ODM gear on flat ground, you're fucked because you can't pull on. There's no way to maneuver. You can't go because if you notice with the Titans. They have 4 meters, 6 meter, 8 meters, 10, and like 12 meters. You know what I'm saying? They say they have abnormal ones, regular Titans. Like these things, there's all shapes. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna talk about. And they're indestructible. The only way you can kill them is there's one weak spot in the nape of the neck that will actually kill them. You can cut their face, blow holes in them, stuff. They will regenerate. Yeah. They will regenerate. You know what I'm saying? There's no genitalia. There's no digestive system. So, like, when they just eat them, they just fill up with bodies until they basically hulk up a big, like, body loogie.
Huh. And see, I was going to ask that if they're going to explain more about the Titans. And
they do.
The Titans are kind of weird. That they seem like mindless, just wanderers. Except for the handful of them.
Well, they have normal, and then definitely the colossal and the armor. Like, they showed, like, people were shocked with the armor Titan because he made decisions, you know what I'm saying? Like he knew what he was doing. He ignored people. It went like it was the first time they had seen intelligence like that. Like abnormals show intelligence, but not like that. You know what I mean?
It's almost like an I Am Legend. The one zombie that at the end that act like he could plan things and knew what was going on, held a grudge. Like it's that type of deal. There's that one. But yeah, man, it's a really great concept.
Well, like I said, you get more into the lore, and you get to see more of these Titans and how they go, and they do get into more of, like I said, there's no digestive system, there's no genitalia, you know what I'm saying? There's kind of these big naked mindless things, and they even say in the first 3 episodes, I want to say, that they literally only eat people. They will leave wild animals alone. They will leave deer, horses. They don't just mindlessly destroy. Sorry guys, I got a train going by. They don't mindlessly destroy things. Like they won't just ransack a village or not. They basically just sit around until they see a human, and it doesn't give them start. They won't starve it. If they don't eat a human for 3 days or 3 years, they won't kill them. They literally just do this for fun.
So you said that you don't really get a whole lot of description about the other Titans and the larger one and the armor one until the middle of the second season. Do you get like any kind of explanation about where they came from or what they are?
Oh, you get by the time you finish with the dubbed all 3 seasons, you know exactly what's up. Like, okay. I have all the knowledge now. I know exactly what's up, and I'm super pumped for season 4 because, like I said, I know what's up. Like, and now I
there's
have
movies
all the knowledge of the Titans and all that. Well, there's some live action stuff I haven't seen, but there's no animated movies to tie in with this.
Okay.
There's a live action movie they did, like a 2-parter in Japan. It's in Japanese. There's no voiceover, no dub or whatever. But I cannot imagine it lives up to the greatness of season. You know what I mean? To this, like, I just can't imagine.
But you can do so much more with the animation.
You could.
You
could.
But haven't done yet. Well, yeah, man. So I'm excited about it. I'm going to try to knock out a few more episodes, knock out a couple a night or a few more days. I'd like to get through this series and get caught up about it. We'll keep talking about it. But
like I said, there was points where, like I told Clay that I kind of wanted to rewatch it and talk about it on a podcast or for Patreon on the Geek Ultimate Alliance or something, something like that, and he was like said something like he might watch it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna start to talk it. And I had watched like 16 episodes the first time around. I don't know what happened, something got away, and I didn't go back. So like I started rewatching Power, and I was just like, I was sucked in. Like I'd find myself be working and stuff, and like I'd be thinking about like what's gonna happen in the next episode, or like where I left the characters off, or like somebody who just randomly got to eat, like some character we spent like 4 episodes with, and then all of a sudden they get eaten, and you're like, holy shit,
right.
Like, I just got to know this. Like, God, you know what I mean? Damn it.
So but I like that kind of stuff where stakes are real.
War. It's real war. These are soldiers. They may not be using guns to fight, people on people, but these are soldiers in a war, and they are losing people just like, and you have to keep going. Like Commander Ervin, there's this one scene, man, and like shit's hitting the fan, and something crazy happens. And like he's just fucking like he's in the middle of the shit, and he's screaming. The troops look at him, and he just fucking screams, "I said forward, god damn it!" And like he's in the I don't know, dude. It's like, yep, I could see all this in war. You know what I mean? Like for as unrealistic as it is, the militaristic kind of in the thick of shit firefight scene, it seems legitimate to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of the commander yelling at somebody. One of the best scenes I saw out of all 3 of them was with the introduction of Sasha eating the potato in formation. Yes. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like you can tell right away. Cool. I was like, okay, she's a badass.
Sasha's cool. She's fucking. I don't know if she's got all her screws there, but she's cool as hell.
One of my favorite characters so far, though, for sure.
Yeah,
like, loved it. Man.
I'm glad you're into it. Like, I really want you to get caught up so we can talk about all the shit that I know.
Yeah, well, it's like I was saying. I'm more excited to see. I was more excited to or wanted to watch the next episode of this more than I did the other stuff that we were talking about tonight. Yeah. Even though we're going to be talking about Jupiter's Legacy here in a minute, I am enjoying that.
Me too.
Now I'm enjoying that. It wasn't as slow start, but it's getting.
I will tell you when we talk about. I will tell you what helped make me not okay. We'll talk about.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
All right. I mean, I'm good with.
Me too. Yes, me too. I'm just like I said. I'm glad you're right, and I don't want to spoil it because I could go in depth and go on for days and talk. Like I said, I just kind of want you to get your daughter in here and you just leave the room for a minute so we can just sit here and nerd out.
Now that sounds.
But you know
weird.
What I'm saying?
That sounds weird, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you.
But Jupiter's Legacy, I did not watch the first episode until last night, and then I came home and watched 2 more today. So I've only seen the first 3 episodes.
As have I.
But I listened to a podcast, a Star Wars podcast, a very prominent Star Wars podcast that had Matt Lanter on. And as everybody knows, Matt Lanter is Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars. So the guy that plays George is Anakin's voice for the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So he was on a very prominent, and like they were talking about it and stuff, and I just like the way he talked about it, and they were kind of talking about stuff on there. I was like, all right, so like I kind of went in there with a new attitude, and like without too much into it, like I'm enjoying what I've seen so far. I'm really liking it so far.
Well, I started watching. I know I didn't even know anything about it until I know when we were getting off there last week. Clay had mentioned, hey, I watched the first 2 episodes of this. It's not bad. You should check it out. And I was like, all right, cool. And I think I immediately went and that was what I turned on whenever I got.
That's what you said when we were hanging out. You said you were going to watch an episode before bed. So yeah,
just to see what it was like. And I'm not gonna lie, man. The first 2 episodes, I was like, okay, this is okay. Like I'm kind of into it. I'm waiting for the twist. And I finished watching the 3rd episode a few hours before we recorded the show. And at the end of the 3rd episode, okay, I finally got my twist. Now I'm starting to get a little.
Yes,
yeah.
It's not a
little
twist,
more connective tissue.
Yes,
But as far as it goes, I do like a lot of the characters. Some of the superpowers are really cool. Some of the abilities are really, really cool.
What's the guy who plays Utopian, Sheldon? What's that actor's name?
Josh Duhamel.
Because wow, I think like he plays a good stoic, like he reminds me of like a little more emotional Superman, but like a stoic character. Like I was surprised at how much I felt like he was a Superman type. You know what I mean? Like I felt like he did value the truth, basically, for lack of a better, the truth, justice, and American way. You know what I mean? Like he felt like that, the code. You know what I mean? Like I was shocked how much he actually felt like a Superman type, a utopian, whatever they call it. Like it fit. I was shocked. He did a good job.
Well, I think you throw a scruffy beard and long hair on anybody, and they can kind of cast that scowl a little bit with the eyebrow. But he does do a good job. I like him as an actor, which is a strong point in the show.
Yes.
The problem I had starting out was like there was no story. It was just a lot of stuff going on with no idea of anything going on. Where this came from. How this connected to this. Episode 3, I think, starts to answer a lot of that. And kind of sets you up for where, okay, this is where they're going with this. Now I want to know what this means type deal.
Right.
Because for me, it was I didn't like his character always being the exact same. Like, why does he always act like this? And why is his so hardcore values of this and that? And his son acts this way because you hadn't had any background with him. And in episode 3, you get background with him of maybe how he became, this powerful. And I think they even mention it, the kids, because the kids are like, well, we inherited these powers, the new generation, we inherited these powers. We didn't have to go through what they had to go through. You're still yet to see, at least through 3 episodes, what they had to go through. But I'm starting to see, like,
there's a journey.
They're laying down groundwork.
Yeah, like to get their 6 members, like they had to go somewhere to get their power. You know what I mean? Like they had to scrape. Like what I'm imagining is Raiders of the Lost Ark, like the beginning opening temple scene to get powers. Like I'm imagining them having to go through, like, you know what I mean? Like they're jumping over pits and they're swapping the boulder out. Like I'm imagining they're gonna have to go through some shit to obtain these powers, and that's what makes them value, and they work so hard. You know what I mean? Like that's
maybe thinking. Like a new Power Rangers reboot. The way they found
kind of,
something like that. Yeah, and I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to see this. Did you catch the character's name in the 3rd movie that has that little teleport stick? Like what his character name is?
I think that's Sky Fox's son.
It is Sky Fox's son.
Yeah,
yes, it is Sky Fox's son because they said they're talking about your dad on the radio when they're talking about Sky Fox.
Yeah, and he's got no powers, which is interesting.
Nope. Well, he has no powers, but does he have no powers? Because
he has no powers. That stick it's a technology or a magic of some sort. I can. My impression is this is kind of like a Constantine light. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a bag of tricks, or he has a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got a gang of guys. He's not a good guy, but he's you know what I mean? Like he said they changed the rules. I don't know. I just felt like a kind of like, Constantine's he's a conduit for magic. Constantine always has to have a coin or a pendant or a piece of paper, a spell or something. And while Zatanna can just create straight magic, you know what I mean? Yeah. She can be the magic. Like that was my impression. And this guy's kind of stick is kind of like he's like a Batman and a Constantine put into one is like my thing. Like he's relying on a resource.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good way to put it. I'm not gonna lie though, man. I love it. I love the character. The
Mm-hmm.
actor does a great job playing that role.
Mm-hmm.
And the power is amazing. I didn't even think about it, and I love the way they do the reveal of it too,
Yes.
where it's like it's a common misconception. It's not who's holding it. It's
Yeah.
just
It's the
it's
voice
just
command.
right. It listens to whatever I say, and I love that he sends one dude to the the sharks. He
Mm-hmm.
sends it through Big Man's heart, which
Yeah.
is awesome. And I was like, I would never think of that. But then I guess if I had that long enough and that ability and I was, that determined I could think of something like that. That's awesome though. Like
Yeah.
that guy is a badass. Don't mess with him.
That was something I wasn't expecting when you said that.
Mhm.
Well, how about Paragon punching Darkstar through the okay? First of all, Darkstar, I really do think that's a great name.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a great name, and I like how he's kind of like a Mongol Iron Man, Dark Side, kind of all wrapped into one.
But it was a faux Darkstar, wasn't it? It wasn't the real one. Yeah,
it was a faux Darkstar. But like Paragon, like I kind of like that name and what it represents. I'm not 100% sold on the kid that's playing him right now. Neither am I 100% sold on the girl that's playing Chloe, and maybe it's because it's that terrible short black wig. Like,
yeah.
Well, oh god, that's terrible. Just let her wear her regular fucking hair. Like, get that out of here because that wig is terrible. But
I do like his outfit though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like the suits so far are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the suits are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny that dude. He's like, I'm just Fire Fist, and he's out there just smoking a joint, watch them all fight Darkstar and shit. And then like when stuff gets bad, he's like, all right, I guess if everybody's coming, I'll jump in there with my Fire Fist, and he ends up dying. But I just kind of thought like real life shit, like superheroes just kind of hanging out, being like, bro, we're gonna let these two knock the shit out of each other, and then we're gonna come in and save the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And those are the ones who end up getting killed. Was the funniest part. Like 3 of them get killed and 2 of them were right there. Yeah. But that punch he laid on him was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like I loved it. I'm glad they went there with that. I'm trying to think. Okay. I wish I knew the guy's name. We're gonna call him Wandy guy or Mohawk. Let's call him Mohawk for right now until we learn. His crew, their powers were interesting too. Yeah, one guy who could like freeze stuff. The other one, I guess, was like a sonic wave she's passing out of her hands.
Kind of like a. Yeah, like I said, like from Young Justice, she used her power actually kind of like Daisy from Agents of Shield vibe.
Yeah, there you go.
She kind of, you know what I mean, or something like vibe, like you guys know what I'm saying. Like that's what it seemed. That's what it seemed like.
And then what was the other one? I couldn't really figure out. It almost like she was like a teleporter.
She's like a teleporter, yeah.
Yeah, which kind of blew my mind because when she gets punched, she gets like skyrocketed in the air.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I thought the teleporting was interesting because you know how like with Nightcrawler, it's like bam, and we see the puff of smoke, and then they reappear. It was almost like we followed her through the teleport, the part that we don't see, the other side of that. You know,
she went like through a nightclub to get there. It was crazy.
Well, it was like like you and I, like we were standing there, we would just see the puff of smoke, but in her head, we get to see the other side where she doesn't see. You know what I mean? I just thought that was
pretty cool.
A nice touch. Like that's something that distinguishes it.
And it was a little cheesy.
It was because you get the way she moved and flew in there. You could tell. I agree with you there.
And my wife even brought that up. She was like, "It's just a little cheesy, But I mean,
I want to see Sky Fox. I want to see him don his outfit because obviously he's the villain or whatever. Because we find out, he fell a couple, 30 years ago.
He was the first one to leave the Union. Yeah, yep. That's what they said. That I guess that's the name of the superhero group they have is the
Union of Justice.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You can only have so many things of justice.
I think it's hilarious that brainwave is such a common thing that you can have. Like there can be a superhero brainwave in every comic franchise, and like nobody can call comic infringement. You know what I'm saying, right? So that's just like a term of thing. But the actor's not bad. Like even when they old these guys up, like they look good as older characters, all out there fighting and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see, like I said, the end of the 3rd episode. One, it gives me a little bit more story behind. I keep wanting to say Omni-Man, but it's not Omni-Man. Utopian. Yeah, it gives you a little more background into why he became who he is, and it doesn't completely answer it, but it does give you some more.
I do like the white and red suit with kind of like the little the other white inlaid scroll work almost without scroll work, but design inlaid in there. I like the white and red look. I don't know. It's kind of Omni-Man, but I think I don't think it looks bad, honestly.
I don't know why it doesn't look bad, but I think his is my least favorite suit I've seen so far. But you haven't seen a whole lot of suits.
Lady Liberty's is like
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's the gloves for whatever reason. Like the rest of the suit looks good, but the gloves throw me off. And the African American lady, like her dad's the guy in the wheelchair. I can't remember. Like her gloves on that, they look like baseball gloves, like my batting gloves out there.
Yeah.
Like that. Like the rest of the suit looks great. She looks good at it. And then you go down and she's got like batting. I don't know. On the female, what is it? Give the girls better gloves. You know, for costume department, knock it off. And there's. I forgot who it is, but she's a very renowned costumer. Like she's done it for the boys and everything else, so she knows her shit. So get your glove shit back. Maybe she's like Rob Liefeld. He just can't draw feet. Like he just cannot fucking draw feet. And like this boy, she just cannot get women gloves. She just cannot get cool women gloves. Yeah,
I just can't do it. Hands are so difficult to draw. It's insane.
Oh. By the way, I've been with Amazon Prime being like delightful. By the way, I've read 18 issues of Invincible for all the people who listened last week. Fucking excellent book so far. Like I am almost halfway through the compendium.
Wow.
But I've been rewatching some stuff on. I've been rewatching Invincible slowly too, and The Boys. And I say all this to say there was an Image Comics documentary that had Todd McFarlane from 2016. Todd McFarlane. Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, like all these guys when they in '92 when they all left the industry together, these 7 guys, and they formed Image Comics and became instantly the third. That's where you got your Spawn and your Savage Dragon and your Youngblood and all that shit. Like, oh man, what a great whatever you think about. Because Liefeld, he's kind of a shitty person. Todd McFarlane, like people either love him or hate him because he don't give a shit. He says whatever's on his mind. Like you get to see a young Jim Lee and like how he came over and he's talking about how they immigrated from Korea and they didn't know a lick of fucking English and came here and look at this man now. Like he is head of DC. Like, you know what I mean? Like kind of talks about how the 5 people that first start, like there was 6 top books at Marvel, and like these 5 guys left, and the 5 of the 6 top books went out. Jim Lee was doing X-Men, Rob was doing like X-Force, there's Todd McFarlane was doing Spider-Man. Like these guys all left it. It took like a huge hit I'm highly recommend it. If you have Amazon Prime, it's called Image or whatever or something like that, but it's about the Image Comics, and it's from 2016, and it talks about these guys going and interviews a lot of artists and stuff at the time, talking about how what they did in the books from Image got them into stuff, and how there was the rise and fall of Image Comics. Like how these guys they rode so high and burned out super early, but the business still went on. And like Image is publishing, Invincible. That's where it went. It even interviews Robert Kirkman, who at the time in 2016, The Walking Dead was the biggest, and they're talking about Walking Dead here. Is that I'm showing the other compendium for people who can't see because I got volume 1 of that Walking Dead. But like even Kirkman's on there talking about it, and like it's just. I would highly recommend it. I found it quite enjoyable, and it just gives a lot of background and like how these guys made their mark. Like they had Spawn in their mind, and they had these characters in their mind that they did not want it for DC Marvel because they talked about Schuster and Siegel for how they fucking worked to the day they died and lived in poverty. Meanwhile, Superman the movie made a gazillion dollars, and these guys didn't get shit. DC did. Same with like Stan Lee and Marvel. They didn't want to create any characters for them because Stan Lee was going to keep and make it all that. You know what I mean? It changed the fucking game. When they did that shit and went to Image Comics, it changed the game and gave them a lot more money to get their rights.
Is it a documentary or like a series?
It is a documentary. Okay. It is an hour and 45 minutes, I want to say. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I might check that out.
It's called Image or Imagine. Imagine, I want to say it is, but it's I found it highly, if you're into comic books and stuff, I found it fascinating.
Yeah, I've been trying to just find new stuff to watch, man, and that might be something I have to get into. But I had a friend today tell me, have you ever heard of the Love of Death and Robots? Or Love, Death and Robots?
I have heard of it, but I have not watched it.
Okay, he told me season 2 comes out today. He said he loves that show. I need to check it out. Highly recommended it. And then he has another one that I actually want to pass along to you that you might like. It's The Long Way Across, The Long Way Down, and The Long Way Up shows. He says it's Ewan McGregor riding a motorcycle, checking out the countryside and talking about.
Yeah, I've heard about.
I was like, okay, it put Obi-Wan in there, and I'll at least check it out.
Whenever we were getting our quotes last year about from Ewan McGregor talking about Kenobi getting ready to film and stuff, he was doing press junkets for that show where he rode a motorcycle around and was going to these different places. So that sounds good. I
might check that one. He said if you ever need a break from this kind of stuff, because I do every once in a while, I got to watch something different. That might be something to check out because, like I said, you put Obi-Wan in there, and
when I was on Netflix and I was pulling up Jupiter's Legacy, like I guess Castlevania's got some new stuff, and I watched the first 2 episodes of season 1 and I liked it and didn't go back. But anyway, like you know how like when it just first pulls up there, it'll show you the trailer for it. Like I got sucked into the Castlevania trailer, and I'm like, oh, okay, this looks like something I'm gonna have to go back and watch. And I know my buddy D down there in South Africa. Like I know he told me years ago that it's good, and I know he watched it. So if he's listening to this, he's gonna be like, oh hell yeah, like because I'm gonna go back and watch that too because it just. After seeing that trailer, I was like, holy shit, this looks right up my alley.
Maybe we'll finally get him on to talk about it. We've been trying to get him on since like the inception of the show.
He is always invited. There's always
the first fans door. Ever, man.
Yeah, there's always an open door policy for him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But what else, man? Jupiter's Legacy. Is there anything, you know, I mean, we've both only watched 3 episodes, which is cool. It means we can watch more talk about it next week too. But it's getting better for me. And the same guy, my friend, he's been a lifelong friend, told me about these shows today. We were actually talking about Jupiter's Legacy, and he said he loved the series. So I'm assuming I trust his judgment. I'm assuming if
number one in like 80 countries or something still. Like it debuted at number 1 in like 80 territories.
It's number 2 in America today, I think.
Yeah. So like it's and that's even what Matt Lanter was saying when he was talking to these guys. Like Netflix set this up to be a potential franchise. You know what I mean? Because supposedly by the end of the season, it's leaving people wanting more. You know, to obviously a second season, but they set it up potentially as the next like superhero franchise. Right. And he said that his impression, because this is like his first big Netflix thing, is that Netflix usually waits till the first 30 days, gathers the data and the collection, the streams and the numbers, and then they will decide whether they're going to greenlight a season 2 or whatever, or a movie off of it or whatever. So basically,
I'm pretty sure this will get green.
But basically, at the beginning of next month, we should know if there's a season 2 of this, if it's returning or what. But supposedly, it's doing. You know, Netflix is number 1 streaming, and it's hammering. So
this is number 2 on Netflix. So it's got to be out there. I mean, well, it's not a bad show, first of all, but this is also like their competition for The Boys.
Yes.
You know, this is very similar to The Boys, but a little more CW.
This is
than The Boys is. You know,
I believe like this is. I know they bought Mark Miller, right? Mark Miller's who's the show.
It's based off his.
I want to say they bought his entire catalog of comic characters.
Okay.
Because, damn it, what was it? Oh, Umbrella Academy has done well for them, and that's somebody else. I want to say that's a different. I can't remember who's the creator of that. But basically, them doing that, they wanted to have a catalog to be, like I said, this is set up potential franchise. Like, if they own the Miller catalog, like our Miller catalog, the Miller catalog, if Jupiter's Legacy is one thing, and then let's just say, I don't know the other works, but there's something else, and they want to make a shared universe between those two, even though it's not in the comics, they could. Because they own the rights to all of his intellectual comic properties, or they have a deal to use them, if I understand it correctly.
Yeah. Umbrella Academy is written by Gerard Way and
Gerard Way.
Gabriel.
Yeah, Gerard Way. He's a newfound. He's in a band. Like he's in a big prominent like band. Like it was shocking to people.
It looks like he'd be in a band.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I mean. But they got into the business with Umbrella Academy, and then they went, oh look, people love this kind of superhero stuff. We want our own thing. The Boys blew up all that, and they're like, all right, we need to get something. And they latched on because this, from my understanding, Jupiter's Legacy is only a book from 2013. So it's not even like this book was only like 6 years old when they picked it up, when Netflix was like, you know what, we can make a universe of this, like we could do something interesting. And I do love that Stephen DeKnight, the season 1 showrunner of Daredevil for the first season, is the guy that does this, and you can totally tell with the entrance, that stylized entrance. You know how Daredevil's opening credit scene, like it had the wax poured down, blood, whatever. And this one, the way it kind of opens and does stuff, you can definitely tell it's his kind of stylized opening part.
I mean, it's nice to have that tag. You know, you can look at that. It's like when I look at any kind of Zack Snyder's work, I can tell right away it's got that Zack Snyder touch on it. You know, it's good to see characters stuff like that. So I want to ask you, do you think this is better than Umbrella Academy? Because I feel like it's more popular already, because I ask people if they've seen Umbrella Academy and they say no. They watch it and they love it, but they've never watched it before. But I've heard a lot of people talking about this already. This one, I say that for whatever reason, this one's got a little more notoriety. It definitely has more bigger actors, and that's not to say anything bad about Ellen Page or any of those actors in Umbrella Academy or Eli Page.
So whatever the fuck. Sorry, but I'm not trying to be insensitive. But you know
we know
what
you're saying.
Yeah. Like that was the biggest name in Umbrella Academy, and and not for nothing. I'm not saying that person's not a big star, but this one just seems like it has more, even behind the scenes, people work on it, like more notoriety. Like it's because, like I said, the same costume department that did for The Boys and has worked in like the movie department, you know, in the bigger movies is doing this one. It just seems like it has a little more. Maybe that's Netflix putting more behind it, having more confidence in this than it did Umbrella Academy.
Well, see, maybe I think because personally, I like Umbrella Academy better. I love Umbrella Academy. That's the first show you and I covered together. And not saying I don't like the show, but I love Umbrella Academy. Man. It's just a great show, and I like it a little better. I think that this show has more benefit. Right, we're only 3 episodes in, but this show has more benefits than Umbrella Academy did. With the pandemic, you know, still being around, people watching more television. Plus, it's building off the backs of stuff what Umbrella Academy and shows like that already did. The Boys getting people into this kind of Invincible.
Giving people are actually opening, even WandaVision, like opening a critical eye to these unconventional comic book characters and shows.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're getting a little more into it, going, all right, well, shit, I'll give this a chance. Like, because, you know, The Boys was a phenomenon. People went, what the F is this? And watched and went, holy, like, this is fantastic. Yeah. And the same with Invincible. And, you know, like I said, WandaVision, that was totally outside the box. Whether you loved Marvel or hated it or whatever, there's no denying that wasn't outside the box. You know, that was something new for them. So, like, that, I think, and like you said, Umbrella Academy, I think that people are just a little more open to maybe these comics that they would have never read, like even The Walking Dead and stuff, you know what I mean? Like stuff they may have never picked up off the show because there wasn't a big giant S on the chest or the shield on one, you know what I mean? Like they're just like, or Batman or Iron Man, like if it's not that, like I said, I'll be the first to admit, I don't think I ever would have picked up an Invincible thing. Even with all them saying, I would have never picked it up not knowing how great this was without seeing that animated series first and now going back. I probably would have never picked The Walking Dead up in just comic book form until, like I said, because I loved the first 6 seasons of Walking Dead. I was one of the most diehard fans there was until they really messed up and they killed Carl off and they screwed the pooch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but I think the concept of having these superheroes and having different stories and different types of tones with these characters that people don't know about is really starting to take off or just be more socially accepted with people now. Because even me, who grew up, you know, Marvel, DC, and everything else, I'm reading more IDW and Image comics now, and buying more IDW Image comics now when I go to the comic book shop than I am Marvel or DC right now.
You know,
so,
you know people are going to think this is a shot, and it may sound like that, but whatever. Like facts don't lie, numbers don't lie. Manga is blowing the fucking doors off of the American comic book. In America, it is blowing the fucking doors off of DC, Marvel, IDW, Image, all that.
It is huge in the youth community right now.
And I'm gonna say this right now, and I know there's a lot of artists out there crying. Like there's one guy specifically going, "Oh, I don't want their breasts have to be so big and they're so skinny." With the girls, shut the fuck up. I've already, like I said, that's their style. Guess what? There's no, like it or not, manga and the Japanese creators, they don't give a fuck about how woke you are and what you want to bend to and what your narrative is. They're going to create their art the way they want to do it. They're going to have as much blood, violence, sexual innuendos, fucking cleavage, underwear, whatever they want to put in there, and it's going up. There's none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's none of the politics aren't in it. They're not having, you know what I mean? Like they don't do that. They're just telling their story of demons, you know, the hero's journey. This group of people have to fight demons, or mechanized robots fight each other, or like we're watching, you know, fucking people are fighting giant titan. There's none of this, you know, they're racist and systemically racist, and oh well, this woman here's got to look like this and this. They're like,
trying to find something wrong with everything.
I hate to say it, but that is a lot. Marvel and DC are both guilty of that now, of trying to push. Like people call Supergirl on CW social justice girl because they literally just pick on whatever's trending that week. You know, I've heard a lot of. I can't say from personal experience. I've just heard people say that still watch the show. But you know what I'm saying. And you can say that politics have always been in comics to a certain extent. You're right. That's fine. But obviously, this cup of fucking tea politics, people are over it because the numbers do not lie. Like you know what I'm saying. And manga and Japanese, they don't fucking care. There was like a month ago, this Japanese creator come out and like put this whole manifesto on Twitter of like, cancel culture will come after you because of your arts. They're going to want you to change and bend to their will, and they're not the ones that buy your product anyway. So why are you bending and caving to these ass clowns who have nothing better to do? Like, it was a whole fucking thing went on there, and I'm over here slow clapping this guy because he finally came out because he's the, you know, what does he care? Like I said, this is the country that has fucking teenage girls used underwear in vending machines there. That's a real fucking thing. Real. That's not me making up, embellishing. That is a real thing.
Crazy.
They don't fucking care. They have a different culture, and it is selling like you can. If Clay was here, Clay be able to back me up because he's a manga reader. It is booming. They don't give a shit about none of your being woke or all that shit, and it is outperforming everything in America.
Yeah, it's like I said, the youth is going crazy with both my daughters, 10 and 14. If it's YouTube or anime, that's what they're watching.
So,
you know,
and Greg, you know, and Attack on Titan, maybe not like that's a little more mature, but they don't get into that. But like your daughter's watching that stuff, they see it. They're not automatic. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't care about. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they see that stuff. It's not. Now there are some shows where you go, hey, whoa, because that was the intent they did. But for the most part, even those little gags are in there of like, you know, and then it doesn't. I'm trying to dance around it, but you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't.
Look, my 14-year-old is very woke for a 14-year-old. Like as woke, you know, she's very into the world. Right. So, but she never complains about that with this stuff. And she will point stuff out and complain about stuff that she's, you know, that she doesn't like or that, you know, going on in social injustice in the world and stuff like that. So she's aware of it. She's
plugged in.
Right. But she doesn't say anything about this. She loves anime.
Like I said, and I know
she's an amazing artist with anime too, man. She is drawn from anime. It's so awesome. Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I know people are just, you know, oh, typical Nathan bitch about it. Guys, the numbers don't lie. You know, fucking facts, cold hard facts and numbers don't give a fuck how you feel or what you want to be true. Like people are over it. They gave it a chance. Like I'm not saying, like I said, DC and Marvel, you're right. People that say they've always had politics in it. They always have, but it's always been.
And they'll always be there too. DC and Marvel will always be there. It's like Walmart and Target.
People are over this. Everything's racist and everything's sexist shit. Like because that's all you've been. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it doesn't exist in the world. I'm not saying that. But people don't want to be slapped in the goddamn face with their entertainment and their escapism every 43 seconds. Like they don't need that. When we're trying to escape from the fucking world, like we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the numbers don't lie. Manga is crushing every single company in America that produces because they don't give a shit. They're doing their own thing. You look in bookstores and stuff, manga will have a fucking wall. A wall. You'll go see Marvel and DC, you'll have two little shelf like sections. My Books A Million, where I went to get this Invincible, it was huge.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the way it is. Every time I go to the comic book shop or every time I go to Ollie's or you know, Barnes and Nobles, my daughters always ask me if they can go because they want to check out the manga and the anime stuff. So it's becoming very, very popular. I have nieces and nephews that are, which makes me feel really old, nieces and nephews that are, you know, juniors, seniors in high school now, graduating high school, and they're watching this stuff whenever I come over. I might see something that I know a little bit about, and you know, I'll try to say something to act like I know what's going on with it, but then they are way, way further into this lore than I am. But I do want to get into more anime and manga because, like I said, my daughters love it. It'd be a great connection for me and my daughters to watch together. Plus, everything I've seen so far is pretty good. Nathan, you never steered me wrong on watching anything. Everything you ever told me to watch that I've watched, I've enjoyed. I haven't, you know.
See, like like I said, my anime forte is not as like Clay or somebody like that. Like Dragon Ball Z was my first love, and I got into that. And I've watched it from Dragon Ball to Z to Super. Gundam Wing was the first mecha series I've seen coming over here. It's great. I've been watching a little bit of MS, the 8th MS team. Attack on Titan. I would like to start watching this Demon Slayer because apparently that is all the rage, and even My Hero Academia because the voice actor that does Vegeta, Christopher Sabath, I can't remember, but he does a couple voices of like the main character on My Hero Academia, and I just I love that. You know what I'm saying? I love that guy. People have said One Punch Man, even though it sounds stupid about a superhero that's so strong you'd beat anybody who's uninterested that does it. I don't know. Like there's other stuff I want to get into, but I just need to give things more of like a slower chance. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, there's a ton out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a totally different. There's a ton out there. Every time I talk to my daughters, they have something new they're watching or something else. So I'll never catch up to it. You know. But it's like I said, it's something I want to get into. I'm gonna finish watching. Good.
Did you He-Man back in the day as a kid? Like, I mean, you were a boy growing up at the same time. It was like, did you watch He-Man in the 80s and shit, and not in the reruns in the 90s?
Oh yeah,
I did too. And Kevin Smith's thing came out, and it kind of gave some description on what the series is going to be, and supposedly his series picks up like directly after the 80s series ended. You know, the one that didn't really have too much plot or kind of whatever. And it's like Eternia has been broken into like 6 fractions or whatever, and there's these small groups of people. And like I knew, like when Kevin Smith announced it years ago, my first thing like crossed my mind. She's like, yeah, like we're doing this He-Man show. It picks right up. You got Daddy, you know, and Eternia, and you got fucking He-Man, and it's gonna be through the eyes of Tila. What the fuck? It's called fucking He-Man. Like it's called He-Man. Like, not that it can't be. You know, like it could have been called Warriors of Eternia or whatever, you know what I mean? Like if you wanted to be Tila, like, and it's like, yeah, we're watching He, but it's gonna be through the eyes of Tila if she goes through it. Like, what the like? I'm not that I didn't like her character or nothing, but it's like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah, we're
watching He-Man through Tila's eye, and it shows like in the description that like Eternia has been fractured into 6 things, and it's up to Tila to go through and get the band back together. What the fuck what's He-Man doing? Just hanging there? Like, oh, he's just locked? I don't know. Maybe it's going to come out and the story will make sense and it's going to be great. But I'm like, come on. If you guys wanted to make a Tila show, like if you wanted to make a Tila show, just say you wanted to make Tila and don't say it's He-Man and it's going to pick right up after that, because the entire 80s thing was all about him. All about him and like following him to, you know, take down Grayskull and all. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it comes out and it's effing amazing and I go, oh my God, I eat my words and I take it all back. Because I will give the first episode a shot at least, but I like it raised my eyebrow back then, and like, and it comes out now, and I'm like, okay, I guess we're still moving forward with that. Like it's He-Man, parenthetically Tila's story.
Well, you know, like I mean? We'll give it a chance. I trust Kevin Smith 100%. It's going to be interesting. Mark Bernard's with him too on this, right?
Mark thinks he's cleverer than he really is, which kind of gives me pause. But Kevin Smith he is not stupid to the climate. Let's put it that way. Like I don't know. I've got a lot of things to say that people just think it's conspiracy. But you know, maybe it is just conspiracy. Maybe I'm reading too much into things. But I gotta think that the current climate went into, you can't have a blonde haired, blue eyed white guy being your lead and it'd be all about, like, you know what I'm saying, with these other guys.
It's possible they're trying to bring,
even though it's a cartoon character, and especially when this was conceived and going, it was back when all those, like, you know, the women, it's like, hey, women, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was all women empowerment and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It just kind of like, because you got to think this has been in the process for like 2.5, 3 years. So go back to what we were going through right around end of 2017, 2018. What happened in 2017? You know what I'm saying? It was all like, come on, like you gotta put the puzzle pieces together where that. You can't be that naive. They didn't just think of this yesterday and put it out. So, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's going through Tila's eyes, and well, we came up with this concept, or maybe at the very last end of 2018. Either way, you know what was in the minds of everybody, you know.
Right. Well, like I said, I'll have to see what it is, because it could just be a situation where, like, you have a narrator and she's narrating it, you know, and you're seeing all the action she's narrating, and that's what it could be. So I mean, that'd be cool.
I don't even care about like a jumping around cast of like this is just conjecture and this is just from what I read, and you know, you can't convey that all. Maybe it will come in and it's like a little bit of here, a little bit of here, a little bit of here. Like we keep up with all 6 clans or hosts or whatever around Eternia, but you know what I mean? Like, but just the way it was worded, it just I got the impression that it's like, you know, like we're gonna follow her. She pulls everybody together, and you know, He-Man's just kind of back here in a cell, or maybe, and like I said, maybe it makes sense. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's just.
Well, do we know when it's supposed to come out? Any ideas?
If it's in Variety, it's coming out before long because they put out a Variety piece. Okay. And because you got Mark Hamill as Skeletor, and You know what I'm saying? Like they've got a great voice cast. There's no denying they have got some top notch voice actors coming in, men and women in the series.
Dude, Mark Hamill has played some of the coolest voice like spots. Like he's got to know that's got to be so cool to think that you're Luke Skywalker and you played
and the Joker, and you know you're all these. You're also like, the Hobgoblin, and you're all these other things. You know, like he's just all these other characters. He's like this,
and now he's gonna be Grayskull. Like
he's like
crazy.
this dragon guy in the Turtles, and he's been in all these great franchises all around.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I am absolutely going to give it a chance. I just. It raised my eyebrow, you know what I mean? And like I said, who knows? Maybe I go into it and I effing love it. It's the greatest, you know, because I look at how Bad Batch was coming. I thought I was going to be like in love with the clones, seeing them again. Right now, I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't know. I'm hoping it's really good because you know me. We've been talking about animation a lot here. I'm a huge animation guy, so I'm just hoping it's something else like I'm watching. Like, yep, this is the shit.
Well, let's say we cover the 80 series closer to the release date.
I am not going back through and watching all that shit. Jesus.
Oh, come on.
There'd be some good stuff. There'd be some good stuff, but there's a lot of reused animation in that.
There's a lot of crap to have to work through.
Yeah,
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, hey, if you
I don't remember it that well.
Watch the 2002 version, which is a hell of a lot better, a lot more crisp lines, and it's drawn. It's got an actual cohesive plot that follows through the entire 2 seasons.
All right, I'm down. Something, man. That's the universe. We'll see. But yeah, man, that wraps up our Jupiter's Legacy talk. No, we just kind of speculated a whole bunch of this stuff. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about? Did anything we talked about Jupiter's Legacy or anything? I know we always like to go off on tangents, but we always have a lot of stuff to talk about. Man, there's so much stuff out there, and we didn't even cover any news. But I don't really care to cover news.
No, I mean we don't really have any news. I mean, we saw a shitty version of Catwoman. That's like it just and like we said, the picture looks shitty, but from the trailer that we got, she looks a lot better in that trailer. And I guess since its origins, it makes sense that we're not necessarily going to see a cat suit, but the picture wasn't very flattering.
Yeah, we heard about what Snyder's plans would have been for Man of Steel 2. He wanted to go. Yeah, he wanted to go off-world planet, like more intergalactic than immortal, I think is what the article I read said.
Yes,
so have him fight people out of the world. Yeah, and I would have taken it too.
Showing the first like kind of look we got, he had Wayne T. Carlson, I'm pretty sure is the gentleman's name that was going to be Green Lantern in his suit. Maybe I saw a doctored picture, but it looked like the suit was rendered on his phone. People zoomed in on it, and I just thought that was kind of cool that he actually was showing it. You know what I mean? I just thought that was cool.
Yeah. Everything. Snyder's always doing cool stuff, man.
Oh, definitely.
Just type in Zack Snyder in your Google search bar once a week to find out what's something cool he's done.
Army of the Dead comes out next week or the week after? End of this month.
Not sure. Yeah, soon. Very, very
soon.
But
I will be watching that soon because I think that's gonna be.
Maybe it'll change my mind on Batista.
It's gonna be something special. Yeah, maybe.
Yep, maybe. But yeah, man, that's about it, dude.
I still think he's a better actor. I'm still Team 57. He's definitely a better actor than John Cena.
I mean, that's kind of a push, man. I think they're both pretty bad actors, but
I mean, you remember him in Spectre? He was a hell of a lot better as the Bond villain in Spectre.
Okay.
And he was also good in Blade Runner 2049, it was only a short part, but now you can't go and watch Stuber or bounce it on Drax. Like even you know what I'm saying? Those are supposed to be
those characters are supposed to be stupid. Yeah.
Right.
So I just need to see him in something where he plays a different role, and I'm sure he has the ability to do it.
Devil's advocate, John Cena. Like maybe if I see him in a serious role and he's not being a weird jagoff, like just a douche, kind of like on purpose douche. You know what I mean? Like maybe if I saw him in a serious role, I'd be like, you know what, this Cena cat, he's really got it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, but. That's it. Yeah, man, that's about it, dude. My dogs are going nuts right now.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Must be a raccoon outside. Yeah, that's all I got, man. Dude, we knocked it out. 2 of us. Some great stuff. We're gonna keep covering, Attack on Titan as long as I'm watching it. I don't know how much we'll get. How many episodes are in Jupiter's Legacy? Do you know?
8.
8. Okay, we might get that all watched by next week. There's a good chance. I'm getting into it. I'll probably end up watching.
I was gonna say, now that I'm 3 episodes in, and like you said, the twists and the quest has been laid before them. I guess we'll say, like it's it's getting more and more. Yeah, like I want to see what's gonna happen. There's this double Dark Star, and like it's showing their origins, their powers, and Paragon, and kid with his magic stick, and yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested. The weird Chloe daughter who's like over it, but she's not over it. Like I don't. Yeah, I'm ready to check it out.
That's the CW kind of aspect I was talking about. It's like, okay, let's get out of this.
The teen angst with the terrible wig, like that is so CW. Oh, that wig is so bad.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but hopefully that'll get better too. We'll see. But
yeah,
all right, man. Well, let's sign out of here, dude. Not a whole lot of people to go through tonight, dude. Where can they find you at?
Here on Friday evenings. If you see this on YouTube before Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Central, when Clay and I will be discussing The Last Jedi and probably the sequel trilogy in general, and who knows what turns we will go down on that. But that you'll find me there, or if not, that's where you'll find him this weekend and what time with who. And then, but me and Katie do that usually every other Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Central, and we talk Star Wars on Star Wars Alliance. And the other night, you can find me here. And as you have been finding out, my friend, it does suck to leave Twitter and the talk to your friends aspect, but it is so much better for your mental health. And you can go outside and realize, if you listen to the internet, it would tell you the world's on fire, and there's just race and sex wars and everything all around, and drugs and just violent, just crazy shit all around you. But if you put down the internet and you go outside, you're like, man, it's pretty. The world's pretty fucking
not too
nice.
bad.
Yeah, it's pretty nice out here.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, we chase squirrels here on Super Civil Servants. You guys chase Womp Rats on Star Wars Alliance, right? So,
absolutely.
but no, I agree with you, man. I'm not saying get completely off social media, but just every once in a while, take a moment, set it down, and check out the real world. You'll miss it. If you're my age, especially, and you grew up with the real world, you'll miss it. So
it's really good for your mental health. It really, and I know that sounds stupid or whatever, or it might sound stupid, but it honestly is good for your just to, it's so. God, I don't want this to be a PSA, but it can warp your mind if you let it. If you put too much and invest yourself too much in that stuff, it can warp and shape your reality and your personality and your feelings. And it is very good to disconnect and come back to the real world and discover your real self that's uninfluenced. Let's put it that way.
100% agree.
And there's my PSA. I went from bitching to PSA to You get it all here. You get your lectures, you get your nonsense, and you get your PSAs from this guy.
That's right. All around superhero right there is what it is.
Yeah. Yes, that's what we'll say.
Well, with all that being said about social media, if you want to talk to me, you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. It's my only form of social media, and I get on it every once in a while, check stuff out. I'm trying to be more cautious about getting on it like once a day. Like if I can get on it like once or twice a day, like when I wake up, check it out. Maybe before I go to bed, check it out. See if I get messages or somebody's trying to contact me. But that's really the only place to get a hold of me. Or check me out here live Friday nights Eastern Standard Time on YouTube.
Come to the chat.
And then come join the show. Come check us out, man. We like to have people on, come hang out and talk. And this is just there's not a ton of structure, so the notes to get through to be on the show are not very long. So just kind of get on.
I just kind of like. I just kind of like the Seinfeld. Just everybody just sitting in a booth, just talking nonsense, and the conversation goes where it goes.
That's the way it is. But folks, check us out. Like I said, we'll be here next Friday. We might just throw some Batman, or not Batman Begins. We already did that. Dark Knight Rises, or Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight,
or Dark Knight.
Just the Dark Knight.
Just the Dark Knight. Yeah. I'm getting the comics and the movies and all this stuff confused. Yeah, just the Dark Knight this week. We'll figure it out. But we'll definitely come back with some Attack on Titan. We'll definitely come back with some Jupiter's Legacy. And I'm sure
hopefully we'll come back with some friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have friends anymore. We used to have people like us. I guess they don't like us anymore. We miss you guys. Okay, we love you. We miss you. We, come back to me.
We'll see.
I'm just saying.
Got to send them Christmas presents.
I'm just joking. Yeah, I said I was joking. But who knows?
Oh, I'm sure people will be back. Everybody's got a busy week. So
I know. It's that time of year. A lot of stuff going on.
That's right. Well, buddy, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. 3 a.m.'s coming around big quickly. I got to get to sleep. And until next week, keep pounding.
Until next week.